Dr. Dieter is going to go ahead and give us a little tour of the dehydrator and the process of what happens after we harvest our plants before we go in and bring them into the research lab, and then we handcraft all of the Sanandi products.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. This is now our last webinar where we close the cycle. We started with the wormery and we started with the fertility of the earth, and I gave some explanations of how important it is to have a very fertile soil with a lot of microbiome and the rainworm or the earthworm in it, and how we start our process and first bringing the earth to the maximum fertility with the help of the worms, and then we bring this earth out to the plants, and one part we bring it to the nursery where we start our seeds, which I showed you also in the last webinar that we have a big seed collection where the seed, which is the memory I talked about that the memory of the fertility and the atmosphere and the incidence of the light have a very important effect of the quality of the herbs. Then we showed you the garden, how we grow the medicinal plants, and today we will show you how we dry them and how we take them to our research lab and how we create some different medicines. I will show you a little bit how we create then the final tinctures and how we mix them then together to get the final product. So we start here. This is our drying room. If you come in, this is once the plant is on its maximum quality from the soil and it's the right time to harvest. So, for example, we harvest the roots when in the new moon, and we harvest the leaves when we start seeing that the leaf is of a very high quality, and at the end the flower and the fruit, and at the end the seed. So this is our drying room, which is a very small room, and the process of drying is very, very important. To conserve the quality of the herbs, we need to dry the herbs on a maximum of temperature in 35 degrees centigrade. And so it takes approximately 2 days to dry the plants in this place where we dry them with wood. We have a stove which is below this floor, and then the hot air starts drying the herbs slowly. And then over here, if you can show, the heat, the humidity of the plants go out, and approximately in 36 hours to 48 hours, we have a very good dry plant, which needs to conserve its quality and does not lose its essential oils and its active ingredients. It needs to be dried between 25 and 35 degrees. And when it's dried, we have a thermobalance where we can check that the plants stay on its best humidity, which is between 9 and 11%. And when we see that it hasn't, this humidity goes down to 11%, we can pack them and we put them in these bags. And then we put plastic around. And this is, for example, a tea. This is a finished product. And then it goes to the stone house where you have seen, where we have our deposit. On the lower part of the stone house, we have teas, and in the other parts, we have tinctures, and in the upper part, we have our mother tinctures for homeopathic medicine. So this is how we dry. The plants come in, and now they start bringing the heat in, and approximately in 40 hours, we have the quality of the plant in its perfect drying system, and then we can transform them. Some plants need to be dried before having extraction. For example, valeriana root needs to be dried because in the drying process, its active ingredients get concentrated. Some plants have to be transformed fresh, and for teas, of course, we need the drying plant. So this is almost finished, and today it's going to be packed. and then it can be put in our stone house, where it is awaiting the time to go to the lab and make the extractions. And now we go to our research lab, and I will show you how we process the plant to make an extract, an hydroalcoholic extract we're going to show you today. And with this, you're going to have an idea that the whole cycle of quality from the soil to the plant to the lab, you have the whole cycle, and you can see a little bit what we do here in La Paz. So this is our research lab, and here we create the different tinctures. All is based on the German pharmacopoeia, and the process we can do here, we have a lot of different equipment. We can dry the plant and then get essential oils out of it. Here we just harvested a little bit of one of our favorite plants, which is toronjil. I introduce you, this is Bernardino. Bernardino, we have 3 people working in the pharmacy. And once the plant comes in here, we cut the plant very fine, and then we can expose the plant. This is cut by hand, all the plant, with a knife, which is a knife which is from porcelain, and this keeps the plant in a very good condition so that we do not lose the active principles. And once we have the different plants, we put them into glass, in a glass jar, and then we put alcohol in it. We use mezcal. Mezcal is an agave alcohol, which comes from Oaxaca. This year, it's going to be certified also as a Demeter quality plant. Demeter, I don't know if you know, Demeter is the highest quality of medicinal plants. Then when we have this perfect setting for the plant here to transform it into a tincture, then we put alcohol in it, and then we make a maceration, which takes approximately 2 to 3 weeks, where the active ingredients of the plant are transferred to the alcohol, or to this mezcal alcohol, which is a very mild agave alcohol, which has approximately 60%, a ver muchachos, 60% alcohol. That's why we do not use grain alcohol. We use this agave alcohol, which is much more mild and has certain type of oils in it, so it has not such a drying effect. So depending flowers, we can make essence, which can have approximately 20 to 30% of degree of alcohol, or we can take it until 60, 70%. For example, roots of seeds need stronger ways of extracting it. So we need a stronger level of percentage of alcohol. So this is, for example, the toronjil, Agastache mexicana, which we use in different remedies. One of the remedies we use for this plant is for relaxation of the intestinal tract, and it has also very nice sleeping, relaxing qualities. So these people work here. Once we cut the plants in very small pieces, we can have a extraction, which can be a cold extraction in alcohol, or we can bring it here to, a ver, dame chance, muchachos. We can bring it, this for example is a root, which is heated, the alcohol is heated, and then we put water over this part here, Antonio, where when the plant is heated and evaporation starts, the essential oils and the active principles do not evaporate and come back again to this jar, glass jar, I don't know what's the name of it. And so we can boil the alcohol with this plant, which is a root in this case. And after approximately 30 minutes of slow boiling, we get the concentrated active ingredients into the final solution, which is this hydroalcoholic extract, and which is processed as a decoction. So we can make a decoction process for roots, or we can make a cold extraction, which is just cutting the plant and putting it into this mezcal alcohol. Once this is done, we can mix it, and then we can prensar, ¿cómo se llama? We can press it. After 2 weeks, we have then the final tincture, which we can then mix with different plants, get synergistic activity of different plants for different remedies. So this is what we do here in our lab. I don't know if you have any question or you want me to explain something else.
No, that was a beautiful explanation, Dr. Dieter. Thank you for taking us through that process. One of the questions I have is, so how long have you been formulating different products, and what type of...
This lab is now more than 15 years old, and we have been working since the beginning in different fields to see which is the extraction method which can hold the properties of the plant as good as possible. And this is approximately 15 years. The farm is 20 years old. So we have been growing, and from the beginning, we had to start first to clean the earth because it was polluted with crops, with potato crops. And it took 3 years to get rid of petrochemicals, agrochemicals, pesticides. And now we have an organic farm for approximately 17, 18 years. And we have, I think, the certification of Demeter as the goddess of the Greeks for fertility, which is a certification which comes from Germany. And this certification tells us that the quality of the plants is of the best level. At the end, I don't know if you can see, this is our products. You know them, Kevin. This is when we mix a lot of different plants, no? And for example, we have here a phyto defense medicine where we use, for example, Echinacea, Eleopsis longipes, and we mix them, and we have an extract of the wholeness of the plant, because we do not just separate plants by active principles, but we want to have the whole wisdom of the plant, which means the whole formation of the active principles needs to be in the tincture. So that's a whole plant extraction. So we can have an extraction mostly of plants, of the whole flowering part, of the leaves, or of the roots and the seeds. And we mix them all together, and we have them a very strong extraction, which is based on a process which is called the 3A process of the German pharmacopoeia, where it is standardized how much weight of the plant, what type of humidity holds the plant, and at the end, how strong is the extraction method of how concentrated has to be the plant in this mother tincture. So this is a mother tincture. We give to the patients 30 drops 3 times a day. Maybe it has 12, 15 plants in it. Or we can use the separated, just a pure 1 plant extract, and bring it to a homeopathic, which is a dilution and a potentiation, which we can create a whole line of homeopathic medicines we create for the patients we see in Mexico City. But basically, the whole process of the mother tincture is the same in all, and depending on what part of the plant we have, is what type of procedure we need to have a perfect extract of this remedy, for a specific remedy.
Great. And we have a question coming in from Gregory Adams,
Mhm.
who asks, when you have a plant, say like black hoof mushroom or Philenis linteus, which needs ideally a combination of alcohol and water extraction, how do you make, or do you make a water and alcohol extraction?
From the 100% of the liquid of mezcal alcohol, 40% is already water. And the plant, the mushroom has a lot of plant. Most of the times we dry the mushroom. So we have approximately 10% of the mushroom has water. So when we use the double extraction method, we use, sometimes we put a little bit more water to reduce the intensity of the alcohol. So the final tincture gets approximately 40% alcoholic extract, 60% water extract. So this is a combination. And then we boil it, because many mushrooms need to be boiled to have really the extraction method completed of all the active ingredients in a mushroom, the beta-glucans and other type of ingredients.
Great. We have a question from Jill Rowe, and Jill would like to know, how do you test the potency of the extract, seeing how Mother Nature is Mother Nature, and obviously we're going to have different active ingredients in all the plants, or the different levels. So how do we test how potent each extract is?
Well, the first test is, of course, how vigorous and healthy grows a plant. The second thing is when we harvest it. We take, of course, the moon in it, and we go by the calendar, which is the biodynamic calendar, that we know when is the plant on its highest level of intensity of active ingredients. And then we have the extraction, then we taste it, we smell it, and then we test it, of course, clinically in patients. We do not have highly sophisticated chromatography. We make an earth chromatography, and there's also a crystallization method in biodynamic agriculture and in pharmacy, which is basically taking one drop of the plant and seeing images. We do not have them right here, but we can see through imagery how potent the plant can be if the crystallization method is very good. Then we know that our plant is on a very good quality. But of course, the most important thing of everything is how the plant grows, and also when it is harvested in the different seasons. No, for example, if we have here a dandelion, which is very small still, it's a baby dandelion. This active ingredients, they are much higher in the winter. So this plant is growing now, and in January, February, when everything, the aerial part is almost dry, we dig out the root, and the root is on the highest potency. So it is very important to respect the season of each plant, and to know when the plant has the best incidence of sun and water and soil, so it can create its most potent activities. And of course, on a subtle level, the taste of the plant gives most of the quality characteristics of the plant. When we taste them, when we see the plant is very healthy, we taste it, we smell it, then we know that the plant is on a level which it can be transformed in our lab.
Thank you for that explanation. So what about with regards to the extracts versus the honey? Do we have any procedural differences when we're infusing the honey versus when we're doing just an alcoholic extract?
Yeah, there are many different types. We can make fermentations. We can make hydroalcoholic tinctures, and of course the honey is a more subtle way of impregnating the final mother tincture to approximately 3 to 6% into the honey. So we have the mother tincture, then we have the honey, which can never be heated, and then we put the tincture into the honey, and then we warm it to approximately 25 degrees for some days. So most of the alcohol gets evaporated and the active principles stay in the honey.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any additional questions for the doctor? Okay. Well, Dr. Dieter, it looks like that's it. I don't know if you want to have wrap it up by adding a few last words on some of the products.
Mm-hmm. No, more than talking about the products, it's, for me, it was important in this webinar that we can get the whole cycle, because normally we go to a store, we buy a tincture, but we do not even know from where does the plant come, how it does it grow, how it is respected, and how it's respectedly transformed in a lab. So our lab is like the heart of the whole farm, because everything which has started with quality of the soil needs to be transformed in a quality of a tincture. So the cycle from the fertility to the drying to the seed to finally the lab, the research lab, which you're seeing here, that we get the whole cycle and that you can visualize how it is important to have a relationship with the plant and to see how it grows and understand the signature of the plant, because most of the time you buy insumes from everywhere, plants, you don't know who grows the plants, how they are grown, how they are harvested, how they are dried, and finally you make tinctures. So the tinctures change a lot from time to time, and here we have over 100 medicinal type of herbs in the garden you already have seen. And the important thing is that we close the cycle in this lab, and then we have this, we can make research, we can make tinctures, we can test them, and we can see if the tincture of this year is as strong as the tincture of last year. And with this, we start knowing the plant, the signature of the plant more and more, and having a direct relationship with this living being, which is needs to bring its healing properties to the people who take it for getting in touch with this orchestra of because it's not, it's a musical orchestra which needs to be very whole. So that's why we take the whole extract of the plant, and then the patients who get it, or the animals who get it, they have the whole intensive cycle of everything which I talked, from a living being, the love of how it is harvested, how it is cared, and at the end, how it is processed in the lab.
Thank you. And thank you for those powerful words, Dr. Dieter, and your dedication and all else that you do for all of us to ensure that we have the highest quality medicinal remedies available to us. We appreciate it greatly. And thank you to everyone that has joined us today on this webinar. As Dr. Dieter had mentioned, this is our last webinar on salutogenesis. We will be taking a break from webinars in December for the holiday time period. So we wish you all a fantastic holiday in December. And we look forward to continuing on in January 2019 with new webinars and lots more coming from Sanandi. So thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Dieter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Antonio.
Thank you very much. I hope this is going to be helpful for all of you, and wish you a good holiday, a nice Christmas. And another medical doctor is going to start also in January. Marily Leopold, she is assisting the whole project here. She's going to give webinars where we can speak now of specific products, of the methods, of the healing properties of the plants, and answer your questions. So if you can get from all the people who look the webinars, what areas of interest are there, so we Marily can prepare some webinars, and you can see also the farm in its different stages, in winter, in spring, in verano, ¿cómo se llama? In summer. So you can see the cycle outside, how everything is growing and how everything is processed. And then we are building a small auditorium where we're going to give seminars. So maybe we can transmit the seminars to United States also about, I talk in Spanish in the seminars, but maybe we can have a translator and you can understand a little bit more about the whole salutogenetic approach we are creating, and to talk also about the foundation and which are the ideals we are trying to get next year, Kevin.
Fantastic. 2019 is, we're all looking forward to it. A lot of great things to come from Sanandi for in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a pleasure.